Planning a visit is one of the things that you hear often in our circles of marketing and church promotion. And while it's a good strategy, if it's your only strategy when it comes to capitalizing on the web traffic that comes to your website, you are leaving behind more than probably 99%, at the very least 90%, 99% of people that are coming to your website. So what do you do with those other 99%? Do you just hope they come back? Do you track them with retargeting? I'm going to give you a strategy today we've talked about before, but I'm going to go into it a little bit more in depth as far as an overall strategy for your website we call online guest gifts. And we're also going to go into, really, let's address the title, the elephant in the room, why Plan a Visit is not working for your church. So if you've tried Plan a Visit, if you're thinking about it, maybe you're unhappy with the results, today is either going to solidify your suspicions or maybe put you at ease that you're not so much far behind the curve. But either way, I want to show you how to capitalize on more website traffic coming to your website to learn about your church and how to get someone to take a next step even if they're not ready to visit a church in person. We're having an outrageous vision today. All right, this is God is an outrageous God. He gives us an outrageous vision to grow church, to co-author redemption with Him. So we're going to think outrageously with that. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Best Known Church Show, where we show you how to 10x your reach with church marketing that will help you increase your impact, make more disciples, and become the cornerstone of your community again. This is for the leaders with an outrageous vision, because anything less would be an inaccurate reflection of our Creator. The ones who have unreasonable faith, because you know God works unreasonable miracles. And the ones who are relentless in the pursuit of your calling, because anything less would not make a good and faithful servant. If that's you, you're in the right place. Now, please welcome your host and guide on this journey to become the best known organization in your community, Justin Nava.
Welcome back to the Best Known Church Show. My name is Justin Nava, and if you have not met me, heard of me, or seen me around, I take full responsibility for that. Leading up to Easter was crazy time, so I haven't been posting as much, but if you are following, you should see a lot more, including why did I throw away all my business cards yesterday? We're going to find out shortly if you follow me on Facebook. If this is your first time here, this show is all about helping your church become the best known in your community. Doesn't have to be the whole city, doesn't have to be the entire neighborhood behind you, but there are certain people that your church is equipped to serve, that God is calling to Him, that your church, He is choosing to co-author His redemption story with, and we're here to make sure that those people know about you so they don't get distracted on the path and go to a false teacher, wolf in sheep's clothing. Today we're talking about why Plan a Visit might not be working the way you want it to. Maybe you have false expectations, maybe you were overpromised and underdelivered, or maybe, just maybe, like many churches that try it, you're relying too heavily on it. So today we're going to talk about some ways that your church, and I'm going to make sure my audio is on here before I go too farther because we had some recording issues. This is actually our second attempt. Where's my audio meter here? Okay, perfect. So your church can serve people very well without requiring them to come to your church in person. Let me say that again. Your church can serve people without needing them to come in person. Right? Let me show you some examples here of some things that we've done. I show this one often because this church has a little bit more than a local church, local presence. So anyone can get involved with this church. We've got a book here on loving better, on unlocking the power of genuine love and experiencing a renewed sense of meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. If you come to this church and you're not ready to visit, you could at least see how you can improve your relationships, even if it's on a Wednesday night while you're sleeping, pastor, or a Saturday morning while you're spending time with your family. Ministry is happening through your church. We've also got True North Fellowship. This is a website we recently launched, and if they're not ready to visit, the pastor is able to get coffee with the person ahead of time. Now, this doesn't happen digitally, but you get their information and he's able to book a time to have some coffee. And this is what this is all about. This is about showing people that you care about them, you plan for them, you prepared for them, and you can serve them without requiring them to come visit in person. And we're going to talk about why that is important. But first, if you feel like Plan a Visit hasn't been working for your church, let me just clear the air right now so there's no misunderstandings. I love the Plan a Visit system, whether you're using the, I don't know if it's trademarked, but the capital THE Plan a Visit system with Text in Church and Church Marketing University, or whether you're just doing something on your own, like, hey, we want you to plan a visit, come see what to expect on Sundays, and you take people to a page on your website, and maybe there's a form at the bottom to let you know that someone's planning to come. Now, if you are unhappy with the results you have with Plan a Visit, first of all, number one, many people I talk to, they are unhappy with it, not because so much they were overpromised and underdelivered, but because they had exceedingly high expectations. And the reason for that is they don't quite understand the spiritual awareness triangle that we talked about earlier. And if you are not aware, I'm going to do a quick mock-up of what that is right here, and I'll try to describe it for the audio listeners. Imagine you have a triangle, okay, and there are 4 types of people in your community when it comes to who your church can connect with. The top bit of the triangle, the smallest part of the triangle, is a 3% triangle. These people are church ready, okay? They are looking for a church, and your church is one of a dozen or maybe one of 100 in the community, and you're all fighting for this 3%, okay? I'm going to tell you right now that of that 3%, these are the only people that will fill out your Plan a Visit form. And you might say, Justin, we don't get nearly 3% of web traffic doing Plan a Visit, and that's because, well, even the 3% that are coming to your church, number one, they're not going to fill out a form because they haven't decided to go to your church. Number two, they're looking at other churches. And number three, maybe something on your website didn't communicate well to them, so they're not going to plan a visit. Okay, you've got another 17% of people that are spiritually open. I don't necessarily like the word, but it's short enough to write on a whiteboard. Seekers, okay? That's people that are open to the church, open to Jesus, but maybe don't go to church, don't have a home church, are quote unquote spiritual. And then you've got 20% of people that are problem aware, meaning they know they have a problem, but they don't know how to fix it. These are the people that are clicking on Facebook ads, that are reading self-help books, relationship coaches, I had a third option and I totally lost it. But they are a problem aware, but they just don't know how to fix it. They don't know Jesus is the answer. They don't even consider the church as part of the answer. And then you've got 60% of people that are just clueless. They're just living their life day to day. You might call them NPCs, you might call them bots, but they're just kind of living through the motions. They don't even think they have a problem. They're totally fine with whatever they're doing in life right now. So out of 100% of your community, 60% of people are just not even going to be on your website, so they're not going to be whatever. 20% of the people in your community know they have a problem, but they don't necessarily know that the church is going to fix it, so they're not going to plan a visit anyway, okay? And then 17% of your community that are seekers, they might land on your website, but they're not necessarily looking to visit a church. They're just looking for answers to their felt needs, so they're not going to plan a visit. So if you, on a very generous day, rely only on Plan a Visit to connect with your community, and you can really only connect with them and show them how much you care on a Sunday morning, you have eliminated 97% of the people visiting your church website. And not only that, another probably 97% of that 3% are just not going to fill out a form because they're just not there yet in their church search season of life. So if you look at your website traffic and you're like, man, we had 400 people visit our website this month, but only one person filled out a Plan a Visit form, that's kind of expected, okay? At the very best case, you're gonna get like a 1% conversion rate, which means if 1,000 people come to your church website, 10 people will fill out a Plan a Visit. Or if 100 people come, 1 will, okay? At the very best case, all right? Few people talk about that, but that's just kind of where we are. It's the same thing like I sent out an email and only 30% of people opened it, and out of those 30%, only 1% clicked, which means like 1 out of, 1/3 of a percent people actually clicked. That's generally how marketing works. Think about the thousands of people that pass your church every day and how many people actually show up. Think about the thousands of mailers you send out and the number of people that actually show up. Think about the hundreds of people or thousands of people that follow you on Facebook and only a couple like, comment, and share. Okay? It's the law of large numbers. This is the world of marketing. And so if you rely solely on Plan a Visit to connect with someone, you're leaving out at least 97% of people that visit your website. Okay? 99% of your website traffic is not going to Plan a Visit. You've got to have a secondary plan for them. All right? In the StoryBrand framework, we call this your primary call to action, and I think it's called the transition or secondary call to action. Meaning, if someone visits your website and you want them to do just one thing, what is that one thing you want them to do? I want them to come to church on Sunday. Okay, perfect. If they're not ready to do that, then what do you want them to do? And a lot of churches don't know. They might say, come to a small group. Okay, well, if they're not ready to come to church, they're not automatically ready to come to a small group. Perhaps there's a way you can minister to them right then and there on your website at the moment they are feeling a problem, feeling it enough to go search for a church. And you can answer that problem, answer that need, showcase that your church understands them, you can serve them, you can help them, you can guide them. And if you can do that, imagine what you can do on a Sunday morning or whenever you want them to plan a visit. All right. So if you feel like Plan a Visit isn't working for your church, you're not alone. But what you can do is help elevate Plan a Visit. And you can actually turn that 1% into a higher percentage by using what we call online guest gifts. That's what I showed you at the beginning of the show. This is a resource you can use on your website to show people that you can guide them in their problems, answer their felt needs through Jesus Christ, of course, and then nurture them to come connect with you in person if that's the end goal. All right. Now, there are two ways to do this. Number one, you can just have online resources. A lot of churches do that. There's a pastor blog, there's a prayer guide, there's something like that. Those are all great and fine. Where they lack in, though, is that, for lack of a better term, it leaves the ball in the visitor's court, meaning they have all the control over what they do next. And what we want is to have some kind of control over dictating what they should do next, okay? Meaning, if it's the same thing as like doing an altar call and saying, all right, if you want to come up. And I'm sorry, I guess it should be not doing an altar call. Like, if someone wants to come up and pray at the altar, they'll come up and pray to the altar. And actually doing an altar call, meaning I know there are some people in here that are feeling the Spirit move within them. They're feeling a call. Now is the time to come and let's work this out together and let's pray and see if Jesus is calling you to something greater in your life. Like you're not sitting there dragging people to the altar, but one of them you're just kind of leaving it up to the air, and another one you're taking the initiative and actually calling people up and inviting people up. That's essentially the difference of like a blog or just some kind of resource sitting there and an online guest gift that is intentionally collecting someone's information, just name and email, and then using that information to deliver the online guest gift, the resource, which I'm going to give you 5 resources in just a second, and then nurturing that person by following up, making sure they're okay, and then inviting them to what you want them to do next, which is usually going to be coming to church, all right? So these online guest gifts can take many forms. I'm going to give you 5 here right now. And when I say these things, you don't have to do anything new. Just take something existing that you have and convert it in a way that someone needs to provide their name and email to download. And for people that are like, why would I want their name and email? That's so intrusive. Bro, I don't want to hear it. If you got a Connect card in your church, I don't want to hear about intrusiveness. All right, you're asking more questions than the IRS does sometimes on some of these Connect forms. So done. Like this has a purpose, all right? Number 1 is an ebook. This is very popular. It's a very go-to. When I say ebook, I don't mean a 30-page, 70-page book that you digitize and convert it to a PDF and then it needs to address one felt need, one burning, hard to deal with felt need that people in your community are going through. This is something that they want answers to, not something that you just feel like preaching. All right, an ebook on the 7 spiritual disciplines is not going to be as effective as what to do when your kids aren't listening to you. All right, my camera is doing some wonky stuff, so I apologize for that. You want to make sure that you are addressing a felt need, okay? The example I showed you earlier, the Love Better ebook. Now that is an actual ebook the pastor already had written. We just offer the first chapter as a way to get some help to people really quick. You could offer another resource that like a sermon you've done, and you can just bullet point it out and make it into a 3-page, like, here's what the Bible says about this, and here's what you need to do about it, and here's why you're feeling this way. All right. Just something that lets me know that you understand what I'm going through and you know how to fix it. Okay. That's what separates so many churches in the marketing world, in the communications era, from businesses and influencers, is that they're out here trying to fix problems and the church is out here trying to say like, look how great we are. Don't you want to be a part of us? Okay. When you watch Super Bowl ads, the best ones are the ones that talk about you, the viewer. Not the ones that say like, oh, look how great we are. Aren't we so great? Think about that. The next time you watch some ads, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or whatever, the ones that catch your eye, are they talking about themselves or are they talking about you, dear viewer? So take an ebook that answers all of these should answer one burning question, one burning, painful, felt need for your website guest. All right. The other thing you can do is some kind of training, a video training. Audio doesn't, just do video. I mean, you could do audio, you could try to do written, just do video. Do a 20, 30-minute talk on something that you know your community needs to work through, that your church can help someone work through. If you don't have financial aid, don't talk about managing your finances, because you're just going to attract people that have bad finances and then you're not going to be able to help them beyond that. Okay. But if you know that marriage is up, addiction is up in your community, marriage and divorce. Okay. Divorce is up. Addiction is up, crime is up, then you can talk about those issues and just do a 20 to 30-minute talk about 5 questions you need to ask before going to divorce counseling. And maybe it's just you sharing some of that information. You could take a sermon and put it behind that sign up. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'd rather just sermons just be sitting there like sermons and you actually have a unique training. Or take a whole series and clip out the logical 1, 2, 3 steps into one 20-minute video. Could be 15, could be 10 minutes. There's no length requirement. There's no length minimum or maximum. Just make sure it's incredibly valuable. So when I come to the website and it's like, hey, do you want to be a better parent? And it's like, yeah, I do. I click on it. We've got a 20-minute video. Just let us know your name and email and we'll send you the information. Okay, great. Here we go. And then I get the video and I can watch and I can see, oh, parenting is much more than just having offspring. It's about actually guiding people and co-authoring life with God. I've never thought about it that way. Oh, and here's why my kids don't listen to me is because I'm saying I'm the authority and I'm not perfect. No wonder they're not listening. This church knows what's up. So if I'm thinking I want to get better as a parent, I can go check out this church. They understand me. They understand my issues. And not only that, they've answered my issues without relying on me to wait till next June for their marriage seminar. You see where the idea is, kind of where the flow, the strategy is. A couple other ideas you can do. Prayer guide. Now this is going to be more for the seekers, but maybe someone's having a hard time. Hey, we've got a guide to help you pray through it, meditate through it. It'll help me work through it. Another thing is a Bible reading plan. What does the Bible say about marriage? And you walk through the Bible all the way up to Jesus about what is God's plan for marriage, okay? So you can offer that as a reading plan. The other thing you can offer is what a lot of churches offer, but I'm going to tell you to do it more strategically, is online prayer requests, all right? I'm not a fan of using chatbots to do prayer. What I like is I like it when churches do online prayer requests and I can go and fill in a form. What I don't like is the lack of intention behind it. Let me tell you what I expect when I go to see an online prayer request. Number one, obviously, what do I want you to pray for? Number two, are you going to follow up with me? I'm not going to give you my name and email if I know that you're going to spam me afterwards. Okay? So I like to see a checkbox. Do you want us to follow up with you? Yes or no? For us, it's about 50-60% of people that will check yes on that. Okay? And then you got to follow up. Because if you don't follow up, which is what a lot of online prayer request forms look like now, I don't know if my name got lost in an email. Is someone going to see this in 3 years that's not even at the church right now? I don't know. Am I being printed on a list later on? Am I being added to a potential donor list and I'm going to start getting phone calls later on? Tell me what to expect. I love it when an online prayer request, which are the ones that we do, say fill out the form below. We're going to pray for you within the next 24 hours. If you ask us to follow up with you, we'll just give you a text and a call just to see how things are going. Is there anything we can help you with? All right. And when I click submit, I should see a success message, something that says, I got it. It's been received. We'll let you know when we pray for you. All right. And I don't see that the same as follow up. So there needs to be some kind of confirmation. Hey, we got your prayer request and you have now been prayed for. And if you want to go extra, record it on video. Hey, my name is Pastor Joe. I'm gonna pray for you right here, Lord. And then you pray for that person as an example, not to show off. And it lets them know that they were prayed for. And it also gives them an example of what prayer can look like for their own lives. And if they wanted follow-up, hey, there's the start of a relationship. That's how you do online prayer requests intentionally. And yes, that is a gift in and of itself. It's a great gift. So those are 5 ideas: ebook, webinar, prayer guide, Bible reading plan, and online prayer request. And just like I kind of shared with you the intentionality behind an online prayer request, there is intentionality in following up and even delivering these online guest gifts. Next week, I'm going to share with you the whole strategy that we have when it comes to how to deliver that gift. What do you say? What do you follow up with? How do you nurture someone to plan a visit rather than just hammer it home to them or leaving them out to dust? This is how you convert that extra 3% that I was talking about. So if you're unhappy with 1 out of 100 people, what if you get 3 or 4 out of 100 people? You're moving that needle forward every month because you're intentionally nurturing people through their email inbox or through their text. So I'm going to share with you next week some follow-up ideas for when they download that online guest gift. And to make sure you don't miss it, click like, click subscribe on YouTube or Spotify, wherever you're watching or listening to this. Leave a review. I appreciate you all, and I will see you all next week.
That's going to do it for today's episode of the Best Known Church Show with Justin Nava. Be sure to subscribe to stay updated on the latest news, strategies, and resources that you need to reach 10x more people and become the best known in your community. To send us a message or leave a voicemail for Justin to be played on a future show, visit thebestknownchurchshow.com. And if you'd like to work with us so you can focus on your ministry, give us a call at 832-861-7654. Until next time, stay outrageous, unreasonable, and relentless.